Hello again, Kingston Town Administrator Keith Hickey with the latest edition of This Week in Kingston for the week ending September 20th, 2024. A lot going on in town still. Work on Main Street, the water work on Main Street has been held off for a little while. They're trying to get some clean water tests back before they continue the connections. Hoping that's going to start again next week. For those who are interested in early voting for the presidential and state election, you can do that starting on October 19th. That'll run through the 1st of November at the townhouse. The election day, for people who may not be aware of it, is the November 5th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Kingston Elementary School. Same spot as it's been. So important to get out there and vote, obviously. If you would like to do it through early voting, you're more than welcome to do that. It'll be at the townhouse. There's information on the town website if you're interested in getting specific information on a date. But take advantage of if that helps you get out there and vote. The board also talked at the last Board of Selectmen meeting a couple of weeks ago about a number of things. One of them with the impending retirement of our Streets and Parks Superintendent Paul Basler, looking at modifying the organizational chart a bit to create some sort of a public works department. Not sure what that would look like. It would potentially involve having the water and sewer departments report to a public works director. And there are different options, I think, available to the town for the roles of the water and sewer commissioners. There was some concerns raised by a sewer commissioner at the meeting about what the goal is. The goal, as I mentioned at the meeting, and I'll mention it again, is to provide the community as good of a level of service as we can with the resources we have available to us. There's no hidden agenda here. It's an opportunity because we have a retirement to look at the operation without impacting a person's livelihood and see if there's a better way of doing business. The Board of Selectmen wants to look at that. They'll be putting together a group to do that. I would like to think that would include the representatives from the Water and Sewer Commission, the Board of Selectmen, and anybody else that people would suggest might be beneficial to the community to have on that committee to have a discussion. There is no predisposed resolution. Ultimately, if there's a decision to make any changes in the organizational structure of the town, it would need to go to the annual town meeting in May of 2025 for consideration by the voters. So there'll be plenty of time to discuss, debate, and learn about the challenges that each of the options would provide. So stay tuned, and if you have any suggestions or comments, please feel free to reach out. Moving forward, there's a Board of Selectmen meeting next week as well. There's a few things to discuss for the board. The police and fire chiefs are coming in on a quarterly basis to update the board on activities within the department. Chief Holmes, Police Chief Brian Holmes will be doing that Tuesday night. Also, one of the topics that's had a lot of discussion, a lot of concern from some residents in town. The town has continued to plow unaccepted roads that have repairs that need to be made, and without those repairs being made, it risks the town equipment being damaged. The board adopted a revised winter maintenance policy and got a little more rigid with what they expect from the unaccepted roads. And there were a number of roads that are unaccepted that were notified by the town probably between 2 weeks and a month ago that there were repairs that needed to occur on those roads, so they would not be plowed. We've had residents from Country Club Way, Post Court, and Meadowbrook Road reach out to the Selectman's office, voicing some concerns about the impact it's going to have on those residents. They've asked to be placed on the agenda for a discussion with the Board of Selectmen, so that will occur. There may be some some other roads, other residents from other roads that may be interested in coming to the board meeting as well and having that conversation. Some of the road repairs are minor. Some are uh, much more extensive and need to be addressed one way or another. So the board will be having a conversation with the residents of those roadways and making a decision on how to move forward. There's a one-day liquor license for a wedding at the First Parish Church that the board's going to vote on. They're also looking to finalize a no break, no exhaust break zone on Main Street. The section of Main Street we're talking about is from the intersection of Main and Evergreen Street to the intersection of Main and Brook Street. That would exclude emergency response vehicles. Obviously, fire trucks have these type of braking systems. We aren't going to require them to not use them if they need to do that when they're responding at a high rate of speed to an emergency. Next, they're going to be the police chief, Chief Holmes, is going to be presenting to the board request to supplement the fiscal 25, the current year fiscal 25 police budget. He's seeking fund an additional $200,000 in funding. And the board will have that conversation with him as to whether or not they support all, some, or none of what he's proposing. In conversations I've had with the finance director, because of increases in interest rates and increases in some other revenues, we can support the increase that the police department is seeking by increasing the estimated revenues, so there'll be no impact to the taxes, no impact to the excess tax capacity as well. So that's good news. And then lastly, next, again, hoping to finalize a school zone for Silver Lake High and Middle School campus. That's been discussed for quite some time. We've been waiting for an engineering response. We have that, so we should be able to move forward with that, and then obviously approve funding, ARPA funding, for some of the costs associated with the signage for that. Last two items are related to the Council on Aging, with the resignation of our current Council on Aging Director, Mary Beth Lawton. I'm proposing to the board that they hire or appoint, Holly Natelli as our interim Elder Affairs Director while we go through the process of hiring a new director. And there's also a request that was made a while ago when we were dealing with a situation at the Council on Aging to modify the bylaws to better outline how a person is reinstated who is removed from the Council on Aging for their behavior. So that is going to come back in front of the Board of Selectmen on Tuesday night. It's a minor modification, clarifying the bylaw. So hopefully that'll be an easy discussion to have and to move forward. With that, that's going to be all of the agenda items that we have, at least at this particular time, for the agenda for September 24th. Again, if you have any questions at all, please let us know. We will be working with the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee, the Capital Planning Committee, to get ready for the fall town meeting in November. One thing I think people want to be aware of is during next week, the week of the 23rd of September, the Sewer Commission is going to be meeting. They haven't got a date chosen yet, where they'll be discussing the need to increase sewer rates. The rate increases will be fairly dramatic, I anticipate. So for those who are interested in watching that meeting or being aware of what's going on, I urge you to take a peek at that meeting. It'll be held, they usually held late in the afternoon, early evening, 5 or 6 o'clock. Like I said, I don't know what date it is yet, but it'll be posted on the website when it is. Their agenda has been discussing or outlining rate studies, and I just want to make sure people are aware that there is going to be a rate increase. Not sure what that's going to be at this point, but it might be fairly significant. So you might want to tune into that if you're interested. If you have any other questions at all, I'd be happy to try to answer those. And if not, I will talk to you again next week. Have a great day.